Hello, this is first time I've done a video like this, but I wanted to kind of show off a 7.62 by 39 AR-15 build that I did. Been shooting it for a couple of years now. Got about 2,500 rounds on this rifle. A lot of people ask me questions about building these particular guns, and there's a whole lot of different opinions out there about how reliable they can be, different modifications that are required in order to get them to work appropriately. But this one here has been flawless, frankly. I've never had any failures to feed, failures to eject. I did, when I first built it, have some issues with light primer strikes. At that time I had a ALG ACT trigger in here with JP springs, which frankly the hammer fall on that just wasn't hard enough to ignite those primers in the Burden Prime Russian ammo. I've run everything through this from Wolf to Tula, Red Army Standard, some Serbian brass that I came upon. So quite a bit of different ammo. Most of it, frankly, just the cheapest stuff that I can get and shoot to, first of all, see how reliable the gun has been. With the cheaper ammo, if you can shoot the cheap steel ammo, you can pretty much shoot anything. Mostly been shooting Red Army Standard and Tula through this. But kind of give you a bit of a tour of the gun here to see what kinds of parts that I used, maybe give you ideas if you're thinking about putting together a rifle similar to this. There are a growing number of manufacturers who are building parts for 7.62 by 39. I haven't personally had experience with those, but this is what I use. So kind of the heart and soul of this rifle is the bolt carrier group from Black Rifle Arms. This is a really fantastic bolt carrier group. It comes with the poly buffer technology, which really seems to help reduce some of the recoil. The gun, as it sits right now, shoots really light. I really don't notice any discernible difference really between this and my 5.56 type builds. It's nickel boron coated by FailZero, and I really like these because they come with the extractor for the 7.62 by 39 cartridge, and it also has the enhanced firing pin installed from the factory. Some of the cheaper ones I know, like the Bear Creek Arsenal, which is probably a fine bolt carrier group. I don't know for sure. Again, I don't have a lot of personal experience. I do have one as a spare, but I haven't used it much at all. I had to get a different firing pin for that. So I can kind of show you some other parts here. This is Aero Precision M4E1 upper receiver. This is not a factory upper. I put this together myself. I used the Gen 2 Mlock handguard on here. The barrel on this is another part that is really kind of heart and soul of the rifle. This one is the GM-M10 from Green Mountain Rifle barrels, which I've used several of their barrels over the years. They're fantastic. I was looking at their website recently and noticed that the GM-M10 has a 1 in 10 twist, but this one is a 1 to 9.5. So I don't know if that was a modification that they made recently, but I'm getting really good groups with this. The muzzle brake that I'm using on here, a compensator, is a VG6 Precision. This is the Gamma 762. The one for the 300 Blackout would also work for this build, but from what I've read, this one here was just a better option for this caliber. That's what I went with when I built it, and it's been doing its job ever since. It's been fantastic. As long as we're here looking at the handguard, I also have the Arisaka finger stop, the Mlock. Just a really nice addition for building your grip. You know, I believe when you put accessories on a rifle, you really should build your grip first so that you've got control over the rifle, and then add accessories to match your grip. And this right here certainly has helped to do that and give me a good consistent grip every time. For thumb placement, you know, right on the pressure pad there for my Surefire light, etc. The iron sights that I'm running on this gun, kind of a hybrid really. I've got a Magpul MOE Pro on the front, and then on the back I have a KAC Micro, the 600M. And you know, really this is a sight that is designed for the 5.56 caliber. Frankly, as a backup sight, you know, it doesn't get used that much, but I really like the way it looks. That peep sight style. It's really easy for me to pick up and see that, so I've just left it on there. Got it from a guy here in town locally a couple of years ago for 50 bucks, threw it on the gun and liked it, and it's been there ever since. Also have a Radian, formerly AXTS, charging handle on here. This is the flat dark earth model, obviously. The ejection port cover, not that that's a big deal, but it's kind of cool. It's caliber marked. You know, I like to caliber mark my guns just so, you know, if I have somebody else shoot them or something, they're hopefully less likely to put the wrong magazine in here. But we got that one from Patriot Tactical, actually. Got the Odin Works XMR-2 magazine release button. And then, again, I said this was a Aero Precision upper and lower receiver set. This is the Gen 2 lower, and this is also their ambi lower with the PDQ bolt release lever there. And that is actually milled out in the lower from the factory. You can install these yourself if you're good with a Dremel or have a gunsmith that you can take it to. But that thing, you know, it's really fantastic and really enhances manipulation of the rifle there. On some other guns, I've got the bad lever down here, but you know, honestly, I'm kind of mixed about it. I don't like to have something else down in the trigger guard, but it really does make that operation of the rifle a lot better. So it's something that I like on those other guns. But if I could put the PDQ in all of them, frankly, I would do it. But so far, just this one here. Also from Radian, I have the Talon ambidextrous 45 degree. No, it's 45-90, but I have it set up for 45 degrees. Safety selector. The grip on here is a Magpul MOE Plus, and then I'm running a Geissele SSA-E, the enhanced trigger here. Reason why I went with this trigger, I mean, the trigger pull is just phenomenal on this trigger, but the other reason is because I wanted something with a good, consistent, heavy hammer spring so that I didn't have issues with those light primers. Before I switched to this trigger about a year ago, again, I mentioned I started with the ALG. I took that off pretty quick. It's a decent trigger for what it is, but just not on this particular rifle, in my opinion, with the 7.62 x 39 caliber. But I switched that out for a Hyperfire EDT3, which also has the heavier hammer spring in it, and you know, that worked great. And you know, frankly, I don't know if it's really just a heavier hammer spring. It's probably more the way that they designed it, that it falls with a little bit more you know, weight and momentum. But I didn't have any light primer strikes with that trigger. I just didn't really like the compound bow. Kind of more of a traditionalist with the more kind of mil-spec style curved trigger bow. So went with this one here, loved it. I've had, you know, probably, I'd say 1,500 rounds on this particular trigger, and it's been absolutely fantastic. It's a very, very good trigger. Moving down here a little bit more, I do have the Battle Arms Development enhanced pins in here. Again, this is not anything that obviously affects the way that the rifle functions, but you know, aesthetically I really like them. I do notice that they help takedown of the weapon a little bit kind of easier to do that. You know, sometimes your pins can be kind of a pain to push through, but these ones here are really nice and smooth. They work really, really easily. And just a Magpul MOE trigger guard there. The magazines, okay, this is something that actually does affect the way the gun runs. that I'm running on this are the ASC 30 round mags. Now I've got about a dozen of these, and of those 12 I have had one that has not fed reliably. I don't know if it's a spring issue or what it is, but the other 11 have been absolutely perfect from the factory. I've heard that the C products defense, especially the newer ones, are even better than these. I haven't tried them personally, but my next magazines will likely be the C products mags. So I'm looking forward to trying some of those. I also have a primary weapon system enhanced buffer tube on here with the ratcheting system here so that you don't have to stake the castle nut. And I like to take my guns apart quite a bit and mess with them and switch parts out and that sort of thing. And so I prefer a setup like this where I don't have the the staking there. It's a little bit less permanent, but it's just as durable, if not more. That is not coming off of there. My stock that I have is the Magpul SL. I absolutely love this stock. I had a Mission First Tactical minimalist stock on here before, and it was a comfortable stock. I liked it. It locked up well. No wiggle or play. Of course, there isn't in this one either. But that other, the Mission First Tactical stock, I liked it, except I absolutely hated the location of the QD Sling Mount. It was actually right at this area here on the very, very bottom, and it didn't have a stop to it. It just swiveled 360 degrees, and I felt like I was constantly tangling up my sling, and that got old pretty quick. So I switched it out for this one, and haven't looked back. I really, really like it. Let's see, what else here? So optics, I just picked this up today. I have been running an Aimpoint T1, which is absolutely awesome red dot on this gun, but I'm building a SBR, and I wanted to put the lighter weight optic on that particular rifle, so I went ahead and picked up this EOTech 553, and I really like this optic. Comes on an arms mount from the factory. It's very, very cool. Really, really like that. And the reticle's really nice. It's nice and clear. I've got astigmatism, so the aim points, as much as I love them, they do kind of star a little bit. Not really noticeable when I'm shooting, but if I really look at it and concentrate on it, I can see it kind of doing a star effect. And so this one, I haven't had that issue. It looks really good. Of course, like I said, I just picked it up, but I've been looking through it quite a bit to get used to it, and I really like it. All right, so another thing on this rifle that I went ahead and did, right about 2,000 rounds, I did break an extractor on this bolt, which for this caliber, not unheard of, but I believe the reason why, this is a carbine length gas system, and I think it was just a little over gassed. My ejection pattern was right about 230 to 3, which in a 5.56 gun is, probably just fine. But in this particular rifle, after talking to Black Rifle Arms, and they did, by the way, send me a replacement extractor at no cost. They dropped it in the mail the very same day, and I had it within 2 days. So that was absolutely awesome. I do carry an extra one now, just in case. And then, like I said, along with a backup bolt carry group, just the cheap Bear Creek Arsenal that I got for $55 from Primary Arms. Couldn't pass it up. The price was too good. Bought that quite a while ago, but just to have a backup, for any gun that you're running, you probably should have a backup bolt anyway. But that extractor, they said that I really should be looking at about a 4 o'clock ejection pattern with this particular caliber. So what I did is went ahead and put on an adjustable gas block. Now I've got these Superlative Arms adjustable bleed-off gas blocks, which are really optimized for suppressor, which obviously this rifle doesn't have. But I really like the way that these work. They've got 30 different positions, really easy to use, and they just do such a great job at regulating the gas that I've got these in a couple of builds, put another one in this gun, and man, it's just been absolutely awesome. I did have to get a longer Allen wrench though, because it is a carbine with a 15-inch handguard. It was quite a ways down there to adjust it, so I picked these up on Amazon, and they've been absolutely great. But the one that came with it wasn't long enough for this particular handguard, again with that shorter gas system. All right, let's see. I'll go ahead and show you the bolt here. It's
pretty interesting if you haven't seen one before. Let's go ahead and put this on my block. So I got the rifle open now. Go ahead and pull that bolt out of there. And let you take a look at that. It's kind of dirty right now, though it is well lubricated. Even with nickel boron, you know, I've heard people say that if you have nitride coated BCG or a nickel boron coated BCG or you know, the extra fancy whatever they call it coating from Anderson that claims that you don't have to have any lubrication. I frankly don't buy into any of that stuff. You know, you still have metal on metal contact. You're definitely not going to do any damage by lubricating it, so might as well do it and hopefully save yourself a headache down the road. But this is the bolt carrier group here. Properly staked grade 8 fasteners in there. Yeah, a lot of people get uppity about the YFS fasteners. They're fine, but this one here does have you know, the mil-spec grade 8 laser etch logo on the side there. The big thing about this one though that is different, again, it does come from the factory with the enhanced firing pin, which for this caliber you really have to have, or else you're going to have issues with primer strikes. So that enhanced firing pin is just a little bit longer so that it goes deeper into the primer when you're firing. And if you notice, that extractor is just a little bit more stout and longer as well, which is definitely something you want. But the big thing about this carrier though is right back here. This is the poly buffer that's built in, and what that does is it mitigates the metal on metal between the bolt carrier group and the buffer, and also helps to reduce some of the recoil, which has absolutely been fantastic. As far as a buffer system in here, I'm running a Spikes Tactical STT2. The spring that's in here, I'm not going to take it out, but it is the Sprinco blue carbine spring, and that's just been a phenomenal combination there. And all of this said, the rifle, even though I've got that carbine spring in there, because it is the chrome silicone, it's really quiet when you cycle it. You know, you don't have any of that spring noise in there. You can kind of see that. But works really well, nice and quiet. It's a good shooter, nice and soft. And like I say, I haven't had any issues with this gun at all. Really happy with it. It's the one that I shoot the most, or at least has been since I built it. And I look forward to putting, you know, many more thousands of rounds through this rifle. But if you have any questions, leave your comments under the video. And hope you like this video. We'll see what the feedback is. Hopefully it's positive. If not, let me know what I can do better. I don't anticipate making a whole bunch of gun videos, but for this caliber, and the successes that I've had with this gun, I figured I'd share. Oh, actually, before I get off of here, the feed ramp. So definitely, you know, take the gun out, you know, shoot it, and then depending on how it's functioning, check your ammo, check your gas system, make sure your gas block is lined up, check your magazines, all that kind of stuff before you start messing with any kind of feed ramps, because more than likely you're not going to have to do that. And I would not recommend it at all. You're going to void warranty. You could have a failure. You can crack your upper receiver. If it gets to that point, call the manufacturer, talk to them, get their advice. And if you do need to make a modification like that, which is pretty unlikely, you know, go to a qualified gunsmith to have that done. Anyway, again, thanks for your time. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments for the video. And thank you very much.